Welcome to the Cinema Gold Podcast with your host, Larry Leese. Come join us as Cinema Gold dives into the latest Hollywood films and news.
Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. I'm your host, Larry Leese. Today we're giving you our review of the classic rewind, Total Recall. Cheaper, safer, and better than the real thing. That's a promise a recall sales rep makes to Douglas Quaid, the hero of Paul Verhoeven's mind-bending action roller coaster, Total Recall. The film, turning 31 this year, presents a future where consumers can buy memories to create the illusion of having actually experienced them. Quaid dreams of visiting Mars, which has been colonized to generate resources for an ill-defined conflict between two large superpowers. An average working-class guy, Quaid decides to pay a visit to Recall to purchase a memory implant and fulfill his desires, setting in motion an absurdly violent chain of events soaked in an odd blend of blood, camp, and existential dread. Revisiting the film provides a welcome respite from today's CGI engorged blockbusters and presents a bonanza for practical effects fans. It's also trippy as hell, offering up grim satire on consumerism and the commodification of violence through the trademark sardinism. Total Recall's gargantuan $65 million budget enabled them to flesh out the world with elaborate winding sets and film a variety of special effects that are simply fun to watch. Who can forget the animatronic replicas of Schwarzenegger pulling a golf ball-sized tracking bug out of his nose, or violently convulsing after exposure to Mars' inhospitable atmosphere. These machines and the ghastly makeup work of Rob Bottin contribute to the film's absurdly tactile feel. They also play an important part in the film's carnival humor. The unnatural movements of the robot Schwarzeneggers are similar to those of the animatronic children on Disney's It's a Small World ride, and the film's violence is gratuitous and stylized to the point of absurdity. The production design is awesome and expansive, yet still manages to feel tacky and inauthentic, evidenced by a supposedly concrete wall that visibly bends when Quaid is pushed against it. A mere prop in an amusement park maze. Though these stylistic decisions, Verhoeven eschews subtlety and leans into the artifice to great comic effect. He also creates a fittingly absurd space for the film's clusterfuck narrative and its pessimistic critique of consumerism. During Quaid's visit to Recall, a sales rep named Bob McLean convinces him to purchase an ego trip, a special package that allows consumers to experience their vacation as someone else. Quaid excitedly asks about the secret agent option. "I don't want to spoil it for you, Doug," McLean responds, "but you rest assured by the time the trip is over, you get the girl, kill the bad guys, and save the planet." Swayed by the description, Quaid picks it. This consumer decision is the catalyst for all the action that follows, and from the minute Quaid is knocked out to receive the implant through the final scene, the viewer is no more aware of which reality the protagonist exists than the protagonist himself. Shortly after waking up, Quaid violently kills 4 armed men who accost him because he blabbed about Mars. The sound effects are silly and jarring. The damn crunch of neck breaks, similar to that of crushing a large melon. A group of henchmen, led by Richter, relentlessly chases Quaid through public spaces, firing indiscriminately at the disoriented hero. The collateral damage is immense, and Quaid takes part in the mayhem, at one point shamelessly using a stranger as a human shield, before hurling the bloody corpse onto a group of assailants. In this film's universe, life is cheap. Quaid isn't alone in having his fate dictated by external forces. Both Richter and Laurie Agents in the employ of Cohagen are compelled into action against their will, often through video screens. Lori discusses her loathing for Mars multiple times, expressing dismay that she had to travel to the planet on her boss's orders. Cohagen treats his subordinate Richter like a punching bag, ruthlessly cutting him down for repeatedly failing to capture Quaid. Cohagen and other authority figures talk in the imperative. Keep still, fighting just makes it hurt, a doctor tells Quaid. Don't think, just do it. Cohagen tells Richter repeatedly, but these authoritarian directives are filtered through a dark sense of humor. When Cohagen contacts Richter via videophone in one scene, he begins the call with his head turned, twisting around like a model in a hair product commercial, before barking his commands. Verhoeven's comical tone encourages the audience to laugh during the film's overblown and often preposterous violence. But combined with the barrage of advertisements and mind-twisting antics of the script, the director's cynical brand of violence stultifies and desensitizes as much as it entertains, providing a rather morbid reflection on how mass media impacts our understanding and acceptance of violence in our own world. By the end of the film, Quaid wins. The girl kills Cohagen and saves the downtrodden population on Mars. But Total Recall concludes with the final expression of self-doubt. I just had a terrible thought. What if this is a dream, Quaid says to Melina. Quaid can be forgiven for his confusion. In retrospect, it turns out that McClane's sales pitch for the Ego Trip package perfectly describes the film's end. In a world where sales reps are profits, authenticity is hard to come by. And that's our review of Classic Rewind of Total Recall. Let us know your thoughts about this movie in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Let's try to get to 100 subscribers by July.
Thanks for watching Cinema Gold Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at CinemaGold2. Become a patron on our Patreon at patreon.com/cinemagold. Send us a voice message and be featured on an upcoming episode through anchor.fm/cinemagold.